Welcome to the CompTIA Project Plus Prepcast by baremetalcyber.com. Change control is the formal, structured process used to evaluate, approve, and implement modifications to a project in a way that maintains control over scope, budget, schedule, and quality. Without it, even well-managed projects risk drifting off course due to unplanned adjustments or informal requests. A strong change control framework ensures that every proposed modification is reviewed for its necessity, feasibility, and impact before any action is taken, creating a balance between flexibility and stability. Change requests can originate from many sources: internal stakeholders seeking enhancements, external clients with new requirements, or technical teams identifying a needed adjustment. These requests may involve scope expansions, changes to requirements, additional resources, or modifications to deliverables. Regardless of their origin or type, they all pass through the same controlled evaluation, so that decisions are based on objective analysis rather than reactive impulses. The process begins when a change is formally proposed. A request should always include a clear description of the change, the reason it is being suggested, and the potential consequences if it is not implemented. Starting with complete, accurate information is essential because it sets the foundation for an informed review. Ambiguity at this stage will only create confusion later and may result in unnecessary delays. Once submitted, the change is recorded in a centralized change control log. This log captures key details such as the date of submission, the request originator, a summary of the proposed change, and its current status. Maintaining a complete and current log is critical for transparency, as it allows project managers, stakeholders, and auditors to trace every change from request to decision. A preliminary review follows, intended to filter out requests that are incomplete, irrelevant, or duplicates of existing proposals. This review is often handled by the project manager or a designated analyst who understands both the project's objectives and its constraints. Only requests that are well-defined and actionable advance to the next stage. From there, ownership of the request is assigned. This change owner may be a project manager, a technical lead, or a subject matter expert with the authority and insight to guide the request through the evaluation process. Assigning clear ownership ensures that someone is accountable for following up on the request, coordinating evaluations, and communicating updates to stakeholders. Categorization is the next step. Changes are typically classified by type, such as scope-related, schedule-related, cost-related, resource-related, or quality-related. Categorization not only clarifies which stakeholders need to be consulted, but it also determines the appropriate routing path for review and approval. For example, a cost-related change may require financial review, while a quality-related change might involve testing leads. Each change request must then be linked to the specific project artifacts it would affect. These artifacts may include the project charter, the project plan, the scope statement, or the work breakdown structure. Linking the request to documentation provides context for the decision-making process and highlights what will need to be updated if the change is approved. Before an evaluation can begin, any dependencies or related issues must be identified. A proposed change may influence other scheduled tasks, create risks, or depend on the completion of other changes. Understanding these connections prevents unintended consequences and ensures the evaluation considers the full system of project activities. The last step in this initiation phase is the preparation of a change evaluation package. This package gathers all relevant supporting information, technical assessments, stakeholder feedback, cost estimates, and potential schedule impacts into a single submission for decision makers. Whether the decision will be made by the project manager or escalated to a change control board, this package provides the objective evidence needed to support approval, rejection, or deferral. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Once a change request moves beyond the initiation phase, The next priority is to maintain the change control log with ongoing updates. Every step in the review process, whether it is a technical analysis, stakeholder consultation, or financial assessment, should be recorded. These notes serve not only as a decision trail for auditors and future reference, but also as a way to ensure that the reasoning behind the final outcome is transparent to all involved. During the review stage, stakeholders must be engaged early and consistently. If a proposed change could alter deliverables, extend timelines, or increase costs, those affected should be notified as soon as possible. Transparent communication during evaluation helps manage expectations and reduces the risk of resistance once a decision is made. It also allows stakeholders to provide additional context or raise concerns that might influence the decision. Prioritization is an important element at this point. Not all changes have the same urgency or value. The project team and governance bodies need to determine which requests offer the greatest benefit, address the most pressing risks, or align most closely with strategic objectives. Criteria such as potential return on investment, risk mitigation value, and technical feasibility help ensure that attention is directed toward the most impactful changes first. Each request must then undergo a detailed impact assessment. This assessment considers how the proposed change will affect the project's time, cost, scope, and quality. It should also examine potential technical dependencies, operational implications, and any regulatory or compliance issues. A well-documented impact assessment demonstrates that the recommendation is based on objective analysis rather than subjective opinion, strengthening the integrity of the decision-making process. From this assessment, a formal change recommendation is developed. This recommendation clearly states whether the change should be accepted, rejected, or modified before approval. It should include the rationale for the decision, referencing the documented evidence gathered during the evaluation. This document becomes the guiding reference for whichever authority is responsible for the final sign-off. The approval process varies depending on the project's governance structure. Some changes, especially those with minimal impact, can be approved directly by the project manager. Others, particularly those involving significant cost, schedule changes, or risk, must be escalated to a change control board. The board, composed of key stakeholders and decision-makers, ensures that major changes receive the appropriate level of oversight and consensus. Once a decision has been made, the outcome is recorded in the change control log, along with any conditions or constraints tied to the approval. If the change is rejected or deferred, the reasoning must also be documented. This complete record prevents future disputes and allows for quick reference if similar requests arise later in the project. The next step is to notify all affected stakeholders of the decision. This communication should include the outcome, the reasoning behind it, and any next steps required for implementation or adjustment. Clear, timely updates help maintain alignment and readiness, ensuring that all parties understand how the decision will affect their responsibilities and timelines. For approved changes, preparation for implementation includes updating all relevant project documents, schedules, budgets, and assignments. Teams may require briefings, additional training, or adjustments to tools and processes before the change is put into effect. Preparing thoroughly at this stage minimizes the risk of disruption and ensures that execution aligns with the agreed-upon scope and expectations. In summary, the change control process begins with a formal request and proceeds through structured logging, review, analysis, and approval before concluding with either implementation or rejection. Each step safeguards the project against unexamined alterations and ensures that changes contribute positively to the project's success. For the PK0-005 exam, understanding this process and the reasons behind each stage will be essential for recognizing correct answers in scenario-based questions. Thank you for listening. Please follow baremetalcyber.com on social media and check out our books at cyberauthor.me.